crawler buddies, what you up to today? I hope you guys are having a great weekend. It's 2 weeks post Proline 2025, and I wanted to give you an update on King Midas. It was driven most out of all my rigs at Proline. I only took about half the rigs. I knew I was going to drive King Midas a lot, so I brought that one and only like another handful of a few others. Didn't bring my trail finder. That's my 12-year-old trail finder over there. It's been down for a while, or any of my other ones. Shame on me. No leafs out there this year. Anyway, back to King Midas. I started getting a noise out of King Midas, and I know I've been putting off updating it. You know, a couple of people told me, don't change it. You know, leave it the way it is because it's all old school. And I agree with them to a certain extent, but then, you know, you want a little bit more performance as time goes along. So it hasn't been updated significantly in over 10 years. I built it originally about 16, 17 years ago when the AX10 Scorpion came out. I bought all the pieces to build my own comp rig, piece by piece, and it just went from there. It eventually went to a ToyZuki chassis, and then over to a 6x6 ToyZuki chassis, and metal axles, and just really the best that I could really get at the time. It's still good, you know, it's just outdated, but I'll show you what I did to it in the last couple of years to update it, and then in a future video I'll show the new updates. But you know, if you're into 6x6s, you might want to watch this because there's some options for 6x6s that people don't know about, and it's going to be shown here. But one of my coolest visual changes was the Boggers, which I believe I put in another video. But recently I ran into Squid Inserts at Proline, and I got some inserts by him. To me, does that bottom part look blurry? And there's that, if you want to use that. I don't know, that's not focusing real well, is it? Anyway, that's what the foams look like. I already got them installed. I mean, you don't want to see a tutorial on how to install foams. Everybody knows how to do that. So my main thing was not the fill. You know, it already had good traction. It did really well there. It was the side healing that sucked. So we all know 3D inserts, if they're well made, they side heal better. So at the time I put them on there, nobody made foams. So I pieced them together using Crawler Innovation foams. Well, this one right here is Proline, the outer's Crawler Innovation. That went in my pass-through axle. This one went in the very back. And I pieced this one together too, all Crawler Innovation stuff. This one in the front, same as this one here. But, you know, I drilled and poked holes through it and slits to soften it up because we want some squishy in the front, and this one folded the worst. But anyway, let's look at all the other stuff I've updated. Put that over here, put that over there. I went from a HALK winch controller to a 1060 just because it's faster and it's easier to adjust the speed on the winch. I went from a DX5C to a GT5. I'm not saying it's a better radio, but it's a better for what I need it for. I originally was running a Holmes Hobbies ESC with a sensored revolver. Now I'm running a regular revolver, same magnetics. It's still an 1800 kV, but the sensor went out on the other one. And I went to a Mamba X for a few years, and now I'm running a Rhino. Can you see that? It's a Rhino 80 amp AM32 ESC. This is a great ESC. I like it so far. And a few years ago, Pitbull was out at Proline, and I got some shocks for him that matched up with King Midas's paint job. I'm still running what are these, Gmade, I think, in the front, and I run a full droop on those. And I think that's about it. Oh, I went from old style Punisher shafts to Incisions, because the other ones, the holes in the U joints were wallowed out, and it had a lot of flop, so I had to get rid of those. That wasn't a change for looks or strength; it literally was just worn out. And then in the back, I'm still running Punishers, but I'm running the smaller, newer Punishers. And as far as axles, a quick synopsis on what's in there now is a Protech for steering. That's their black label, 650 ounces of torque. Boom Racing axle housings, Chromoly lockers from Holmes Hobbies, Vanquish CVDs, and Vanquish lockouts. And I do have the Chromoly shafts, all 3 axles. Helical gears, they're all machined in the back. Axials, the 330, so it is underdriven. I got 330s up front. This is all Delrin, Delrin sliders, and Delrin high clearance leaks, stainless steel high clearance leaks in the front. Lastly, unless I'm forgetting something, the 2-speed in here is AX2 2-speed from RC4WD drive, and they had a weakness. They had a main shaft that went through that had a C-clip. Well, a few years later, they came out with a hardened shaft that got rid of the C-clips, and they went with O-rings. So I replaced all the gears. The gears look perfect, but I replaced them anyway. And I put the hardened shaft in there. So this has seen a lot of power. I used to run 4S through here, but I settled on 3S. Just, it's easier. The ESC for the winch runs better. The KMS 480 winch will last a lot longer on 3S than 4S. My lights are on 3S. But in the very near future, you're going to see some really cool upgrades on this that I think you guys are going to like. So you might not be into specifically King Midas, but if you like 6x6s, you might want to watch. But anyway, you guys have a great week. Bye.
Like your rig just did.
Yeah.
I was like, that was fun. I'm gonna do it again. Done.
Solid landing.